Hello everyone, this is Meenakshi Birari, working as a assistant professor in chemistry at Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samaj, Nasik. In previous lectures, we have discussed plant nutrients, its introduction and classification. Today I am going to discuss nutrient absorption by plants and also the theories of nutrient uptake. So let's begin. The plants take nutrients mostly from the soil with the help of plant roots. The nutrients present in the soil, these are dissolved by soil moisture and it results in soil solution. So what is soil solution? The nutrients present in the soil are dissolved in soil moisture and it results in the formation of soil solution. The soil solution enters the roots and the nutrients also gain entry into plants. Besides the soil solution being the source of plant nutrients, some nutrients enter the plant roots as exchangeable from the surface of clay and humus by the process of contact exchange. These are readily decomposable minerals which help in the nutrients of plants. Some nutrients also enter through the leaves by the way of stomata. For example, most of the carbon dioxide, CO2 and some water enters the plant through the stomata. Most of the nutrients enter the plant's root in the form of ions, that may be cations and anions. The ion absorption, it occurs well in a fertile, well aerated and moist soil. In a fertile soil, the amount and the balance of these ions are reasonable. So these nutrients must be absorbed from the soil for the growth of plants. Ion absorption occurs well in a fertile soil and also in well aerated and moist soil. Thus, it is clear that there are four devices for obtaining plant nutrients. What are that? First, from the soil solution. Second, from exchangeable bases. Third, from the readily decomposable minerals. And fourth, through the leaves by the way of stomata. So, by using these four devices, the nutrient uptake in the plant, it occurs. Now the mechanism by which plants absorb nutrients from the soil is controversial and there are two theories which are based upon the phenomenon of ion exchange. Ion exchange means the exchange of ion for another ion. So what are that theories? Soil solution theory and second one, that is contact exchange theory. Both theories are based upon the absorption of nutrients from the soil by means of root. These theories are based upon the absorption of nutrients from the soil by means of roots. So we have to discuss in detail the theories of nutrient uptake. These are soil solution theory and contact exchange theory. Both theories are based on the phenomenon of ion exchange. What is ion exchange? That is the exchange of ions for another ion. So let us discuss soil solution theory. Exchange of ion take place between the roots and clay particles. Capillary water, which is also called soil solution, it forms the carbonic acid with respiratory CO2 released by the roots. Carbonic acid dissociates hydrogen ions, these are called as cations, which diffuses into clay particles where they displace the cations adsorbed to the clay surface where they may be absorbed in exchange for hydrogen ions or as ion pairs with bicarbonates. So already I have explained what is soil solution. Soil solution, it is nothing but the nutrients present in the soil are dissolved by soil moisture. So the soil solution enters the roots and the nutrients also gain entry into plants. The soil solution provides medium for exchange of ions between the roots and clay myceli. Carbon dioxide released in respiration of root forms carbonic acid by reacting with water of the soil solution. So that CO2 plus H2, there is the formation of carbonic acid, H2CO3, and whenever it releases, there will be the formation of cations and anions, that is H plus and HCO3 minus. So carbon dioxide, it is released in respiration of root. It forms the carbonic acid by reacting with water of the soil solution. The carbonic acid then dissociates in the soil solution to form H plus and HCO3 minus. H plus ions are adsorbed to the clay myceli in exchange for cations, that may be K plus, which are released into the soil solution. From here they may diffuse to the root, where they may be adsorbed in exchange for H plus ion. So that is nothing but the soil solution theory. So the exchange of ion take place between the roots and the clay particles. The soil solution forms carbonic acid with respiratory CO2 released by the roots. The carbonic acid dissociates into H plus ion, that are the cations, and HCO3 minus, these are anions, which diffuses into clay particles, where they displace cations adsorbed to the clay surface, for example K plus, where they may be absorbed in exchange for hydrogen ions or ion pairs with bicarbonates. So that is the soil solution theory. Now next one, that is contact exchange theory. It postulates direct exchange of ions between root surface and clay colloid without the participation of free electrolyte. These ions are adsorbed by the plants without being first dissolved in soil solution. The ion is adsorbed electrostatically to plant root or clay particle. It is not held too tightly, but it oscillates within a small sphere. So this theory is explained as an ion overlapping of oscillation spaces of adsorbed ions. The ion is adsorbed electrostatically to plant root or clay particle. It is not held too tightly but oscillates within a small sphere. If two adsorbents are in contact with each other, the oscillation volume of an ion adsorbents are in contact with each other. So the oscillation volume of an ion adsorbed to the other particle, and hence the exchange of ions take place. So how these adsorbed nutrients are taken up by the plants has been explained on the basis of the carrier hypothesis. So according to this theory, the ions adsorbed on the clay mycels get adsorbed to the root in exchange for hydrogen ions previously adsorbed on the root. Ions adsorbed on solid particles oscillate within a small space. When two particles are close enough, the oscillation space of an ion adsorbed to one particle overlaps the oscillation space of an ion adsorbed to another particle. Thus, the exchange of ions may take place. How these adsorbed nutrients are taken up by the plants has been explained on the basis of the carrier hypothesis. So according to this theory, the ions adsorb on the clay missiles get adsorbed to the root in exchange for H plus ions which are previously adsorbed on the root. Ions adsorb on the solid particles. This can oscillate within a small space, and when two particles are close enough, then the oscillation space of an ion adsorbed to one particle overlaps the oscillation space of an ion adsorbed to the another particle, and there will be the exchange of ion. It may occur. So that is nothing but the contact exchange theory. In this theory, direct exchange of ions between the root surface and clay collide without participation of free electrolytes. So these ions are adsorbed by plants without being first dissolved in soil solution. In soil solution theory, the ions or the nutrients are first dissolved in water or the moisture, and then there is the formation of soil solution. But in contact exchange theory, without the participation of free electrolyte, these ions are adsorbed by the plants without being first dissolved in soil solution. So again, that is explained by using this diagram. So here the clay micelle and the root surface, the exchange of ions, it occurs the H plus ions, and these are nothing but the K plus cations. The clay humus complex, which is having the stable humus having the different exchangeable bases, these are Ca2 plus, Mg2 plus, K plus, like that, that can show the replacement between the root surface and that of the clay micelle. So the contact exchange theory, it postulates direct exchange of ions between root surface and clay collide without the participation of free electrolytes, and the contact exchange theory will be explained as an ion overlapping of oscillation spaces of adsorbed ions. The ion is adsorbed electrostatically to the plant root or the clay micelle. So here the ions are adsorbed on the plant roots and also on the clay particle. It is not held too tightly but oscillates within a small sphere. There is the oscillation of ions within a small sphere. If these two adsorbents are in contact with each other, the oscillation volume of an ion adsorbents are in contact with each other, and the exchange of ions take place. How these adsorbed nutrients are taken up by the plant, it is well explained by the carrier hypothesis. So let us discuss the carrier hypothesis to explain the contact exchange theory. Scientist Hansen explained this theory in 1955. The ions are adsorbed by calcium acetate colloids present in the cell wall and then adsorbed by the cytoplasm. This process is more pronounced with cations as compared to anions, as the plant colloids are dominated by negative charges. Later, the adsorbed ions are transferred from cytoplasm to cell sap. The transfer process, it requires the energy and it is derived from the respiration. This is further confirmed by the fact that when the root respiration is limited due to low temperature, poor soil aeration or low sugar supply from the leaves, the ion absorption drop down considerably. Therefore, it is clear that respiration gives energy for absorption. The general recognition, it proves that ATP is a high energy intermediate metabolite in many energy requiring processes, has led the obvious idea that it may also furnish the energy necessary for ion transport, so that the ATP is a high energy intermediate which is formed by photosynthesis. So carrier theory, it is explained by scientist Hansen in 1955. In this, the ions are adsorbed by calcium acetate colloids which are present in the cell wall and then adsorbed by the cytoplasm. Later, the adsorbed ions are transferred from cytoplasm to cell sap, and for this transfer process, the energy required it is derived by respiration process. So that is carrier theory to explain the exchange of ions. So that is carrier theory, in which the exchange of ions it occurs. This theory is useful to explain the contact exchange theory. Already we have discussed about contact exchange theory. In this, direct exchange of ions between root surface and clay colloid it occurs without the participation of free electrolyte. This is explained as an ion overlapping of oscillation spaces of adsorbed ions. The ion is adsorbed electrostatically to plant root or also to the clay particle, and it is not held too tightly so that these are oscillating within a small sphere, and if these two adsorbents are in contact with each other, the oscillation volume of an ion adsorbers are in contact with each other, and the oscillation volume of an ion adsorbed to the other particle, the exchange of ions, it occurs. So this contact exchange theory it is well explained by the carrier theory given by scientist Hansen, which is explained in 1955. So the cations are exchanged for the hydrogen ions obtained from carbonic acid or from the plant itself. So there are the two theories, one is soil solution theory and another one is contact exchange theory. So clay particle which is negatively charged, it binds cations. The cations are exchanged for hydrogen ions with the other ions which are obtained from carbonic acid or from the plant itself, and the mineral cations which are released into the soil solution. So these two theories are helpful for the absorption of nutrients by plant. One is soil solution theory and second one is contact exchange theory. So in this lecture we have discussed the nutrient absorption by plants and also the theories of nutrient uptake in detail, that is one is soil solution theory and second contact exchange theory. To explain contact exchange theory we have studied the carrier theory. So in next lecture we will discuss each nutrient related to the plant growth and also what happens if these nutrients are deficient in plant, what are the deficiency symptoms related to each nutrient. We will discuss in next lecture. Thank you.